Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem. All of my Dominicanos right there up on Broadway. Pulled me back to that McDonald's. Took it to my stash spot.
Chemical X.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chemical X podcast. It's your girl, Veronica.
And your other girl, Alessia.
And guys, as usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. We're in New York this week. And also, to fund our New York trip, we just released some red hats for Canada Day, but we said, fuck Canada Day. We're going to go to the US. But we're releasing a very limited edition red hat of our trucker hat.
Cute.
Yeah, just so cute.
Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite. So head on over to chemicalxpodcast.com and get yourself one. Hopefully they're not sold out right now because it's going to be a week after they released. But get yourself a hat, yo. So we're in New York. Well, are we in New York? I keep saying I feel like I'm in Montreal.
I know we keep saying that. This is the first time Chemical X takes
A trip. Yeah. On the Chemical X card.
On the Chemical X card.
But we were like, so we were initially going to, go to a hotel and then rent a studio and book guests. But then I was like, it would be fun if we could find a place where we could do it all. So we found this.
We're doing it all.
We're doing it all.
We're staring at a bed
I'm
right
staring
now.
at a bed. I'm staring at my sleep pad. So we found this Airbnb and we're like, it's perfect. Like Chemical X vibes, first of all.
I mean, guys, there's the plants.
There's the couches. There's the books. Like we're just missing the little sign. There's Mel.
There's Mel. Hey, Mel.
But so we found this place and I'm like, Brooklyn is a hot spot. It's going to be so fun.
And because we've done Soho and we've been in the city so many times that it was like everyone says Brooklyn is,
the hot spot.
A hot spot. So we're like, okay, fun. We'll do Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
And we're still finding ourselves downtown. Crazy.
And we didn't realize that Brooklyn is a big place. And somehow we're in Brooklyn, but also not. We're actually very far from where you want to be in Brooklyn. So we came to an Airbnb. We didn't go to New York. We just came to an Airbnb.
Basically, it's been like fun to know we're in New York, but like I still don't feel like, I feel like we're just like in work grind, but it's a vibe to be filming anywhere else than where we normally film.
Yeah, and I like this place. But guys, so the day before we left, so I've spoken about this in the past, how I used to be an emo kid when I was younger. And I had stretchers in my ears. I know.
People don't believe it, I feel.
I know what you're saying. You're saying I don't believe you.
The guest we had yesterday was like, no way you had stretchers.
Somebody actually DM'd me and was like, send me proof right now because I don't believe you. I was like, first of all, relax, okay?
And also, here's the pic.
Yeah, and also here's the pic of me with stretchers. Also, you're never getting that. So
also Facebook.com.
Yeah. So I used to have stretchers for a while when I was younger. Like I think I got them like 14, 15. And like I remember at the time too being like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and I remember always saying like, I'll just get the surgery one day. But my dumb ass self didn't realize that like surgeries, they cost money. Like, I don't know. I was saying $1,000 per year, no stress. Let me tell you, when I got time to do that
no
surgery,
stress or no stretch?
All stretch, baby girl. It was all only stretch.
All stretch, no stress.
Yeah, all stress
stretch.
and stress. Just all stress, stretch, everything stretching and stressing. Anyway, so many years later, guys, I've always had like do you want to
explain what a stretch is for people who don't know?
Well, it's basically like you stretch your earlobe. So like you go bigger and bigger and bigger.
So guys, like think about those people you would see out that just had like a big hole
in your ear. Yeah.
In your ear.
Mine wasn't that big though. It was like, I would say it was like the circumference of like my like ring finger, maybe.
But that like to still think there's a hole that big.
Yeah, a hole that big. Maybe my pinky. It wasn't like huge, but it was still big enough.
Wild.
Yeah. And I went the size. So you can go up to a 00, and I was a 00 size. And anything after that, they say your ears cannot go back for sure. Okay. So I went until a 00 because I was like, there's a chance, you know what I mean, that I'm gonna get them back. Obviously that didn't happen. They did go back a lot though. Like you couldn't tell, like a lot of people didn't know I had it because I always wear hoops. So like you would just think, oh, you have like a kind of like a loose ear piercing. But I hated it for so long because I couldn't wear any studs. All my hoop earrings would always like fucking, I could pass the whole earring through my ear. Like it was just so annoying.
Right.
So I finally decided, I just like woke up one day and I'm like, why am I spending money on all these other things when this is something that I actually want? And I've wanted for a while.
Relatable,
You know?
So Veronica and I absolutely love jewelry, but there's nothing we love more than being able to change our jewelry often at an affordable price, and everyone just thinks it's real because, like, how are you gonna know, right? I'm wearing these gold beautiful earrings that I'm obsessed with that have a diamond, and like, how do you know if they're $3,000 or $3?
Absolutely. And I'm wearing no earrings because I just got my earlobe sliced off. But eventually, when I graduate to have lobes again, I'll be wearing the whole collection at Every Jewels. So if you want to do that too, you should head on over and use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout, and you'll receive 20% off everything on their website. I'm like, why did I just buy $600 shoes when this could have went through to my ears?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's always a joke I say with like when my girls at work, when I work
But
in the
it's also
club.
hard to justify because you're like, what, to fix it for what?
For
Everyone to not even know, and I'm still wearing the earrings.
But you know what? It's a personal thing.
Yes.
And it's so funny because when I was working at the clubs, we would like, I would like talk to my girlfriends about it. And like the joke would always be like, you know, like let's say I would make like $1,000 and like we had a good night, we made $1,000. My friends would be like, that's one ear. You know, I'm like just missing the other ear now.
Oh my God.
So I finally decided to do it, but I booked the appointment the day we were leaving to New York.
Classic.
Because
But
multitask.
you know what the thing is when you're booking any type of appointment, you're always like trying to find the best time. But then you realize there is never a good time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. I'm going to do it in summer when I get back from my trip. And then it's like, well, do you want to have it in summer? Then you're like, well, I'm going to do it in winter. But it's like, oh, I'm planning on being away actually in winter. And I'm planning on doing the summer. Like everything you try to choose to.
Absolutely.
It just never works out. It's always like, you're always interrupting something. Just choose the thing you're accepting that you're interrupting.
Absolutely. And I was like, I need to do it now because I'm like, yeah, it fucking sucks for New York. But then I'm like, but then I'm starting the club and I don't want to be like out in the heat working in the day with my ears fucking sliced open. Just a whole thing. Anyway, so I got it done, guys. And I was like not tripping about it until like the day before. And I was like, wait, am I getting a surgery tomorrow morning? Like, how does this shit work?
Also, you did it at Dr. Schwartz's office.
Yeah, I did at Dr. Schwartz.
Shout out if you guys watched the episode with the plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
So how do they sew that shit?
Well, first of all, I was not under the impression that it was like that it was actually a surgery. Like in my head, it was like a little nip and tuck. Like you go in, you sit in the seat, snip, snip, you're good. But when I got in, like, and they were telling me it's like a 20-minute thing. I'm like, no problem. So
But then when we really think about it, like our nose was 45.
Yeah, I know. It's quick.
So it's like.
It's quick. But even like I'm saying, even the nose is quick. But anyway, so I get in and they're like, okay, go in like this room, you know, and they like prep me. I'm like, prep me for surgery? I'm like, what, for surgery? Like, it's like, I know I'm getting a surgery, but I didn't know I was getting like a surgery, you know? Like I didn't know that the prep.
Once you put on the gown, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Am I making New York?
No, once I started putting on that gown, I'm like, I guess I'm not going to New York. Like, I didn't know it was one of these.
You're like, is it 1 hour? Is it 13
and I
hours?
drove myself there because they were like, no stress. Like, you don't need to fast. You're not under like any anesthesia. It's just local anesthesia. So it's like a needle in the place that they're numbing. So like, you could drive yourself home. But I was like, once they said put on this gown, I was like, okay. And she's like, take off all your jewelry. Man, there were my 64 necklaces, like one after the other. So anyway, so you get in. Guys, you're lying in they bring me in the OR operating room. And it's very like, should I be awake for this? Like, am I supposed to be seeing this room? Like, I feel like I should be asleep. So basically what they do is they cut a chunk out of your ear because you can't just sew the hole closed. It needs to be like it needs to be fresh skin, like open skin for it to actually heal together. You know what I mean? Like you can't just like sew. Like some people are like, can't they just sew? I'm like, no, because it's healed skin. So they have to like cut a chunk of like that part out and then sew it together. So they essentially like, cut a pizza wedge out and like sewed my ear together.
Okay.
So I'll show you guys what it looks like right now. It's like, it's not bad, but just so happy it's done. So that's how this trip started, with my ears getting fucking sliced off my head.
And how else would we have it?
How else would we? It all went up from there. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I'm pretty happy about the surgery. So
Yeah, you seem happy.
I am.
So we picked you up. We decided to drive because we brought all our equipment. First, we were deciding maybe we were going to rent a studio, but then the time slots of having guests on when everyone's kind of like, I don't know what time, day, year I'll be available. We're like, hey, we're going to make it work. at the studio. And then obviously when our friends hear that we're going to a fun bachelor pad, like
2-bedroom.
So Mel is here right now. She was like, hey guys, like any room for me in the car? Like last minute, like
while we were in the car,
we were literally in the car. And then I was like, no. And then we ended up switching cars. Anyway, long story short, she flew down and here she is. We have our other friend here, 2 other friends here. So we just like, it's a work trip, but like, is it ever?
Our pleasure?
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
Our girlfriend right now is doing her makeup right now because we're going out after. So this is just fun.
It's just fun. Also, speaking of, guys, we're actually idiots. Me, Peter, and Alessia, we're just like 3, like actually powering one brain cell all together when we like do anything.
Oh, you're gonna talk about the next one?
Yeah. So we get to the border, and obviously we're going prime time. C'est Jean-Baptiste, man. Tout le monde est parti pour le weekend. So let me tell you, everybody was at the border. So we get there, and Peter's like, I have an Nexus card, and I'm like, look, Peter, like I don't think it works like one Nexus per card.
And you heard me. I was like, I don't care. We're gonna try. Obviously.
Yeah, and I was like, I think we all have to have a Nexus to pass in the Nexus line because, guys, there was no one in the Nexus line, and the regular line was 3 hours.
3
long.
hours minimum.
3 hours long. So we go. We're like, let's. It doesn't hurt to try. But I'm like, my fear is that they send us around and we have to go.
And then at that point,
again.
I'm like, well, whatever. It's the 3 hours or the chance of.
Yeah. So the 3 Musketeers, we decide to go on the Nexus line, and we get there, and like the guy's super friendly. Like he's like, here.
Oh my god, he was a vibe.
Yeah, he was a vibe. He was like, give me your card.
I was like, do you want a White Claw?
Yeah. So we give him like the Nexus card. Then he's like, what about you? He points to Alessia. Alessia's like, nope. He looks at me. He's like, what about you? I'm like, I applied for one, but like I didn't get approved yet. He's like, so also not a Nexus card. So he takes up our passports, pack them up. He goes, you could bring these to the office. He goes, guys, your passports will meet you inside. Just
now I'm like,
go in the doors, door A. I'm like, what we were trying to avoid, we walked ourselves right in. Well, we drove ourselves right into it, actually.
Yeah, we did. And then we go inside, and then he's kind of giving shit to Peter, the one who has the Nexus card. And he's like, I can give you a fine right now for $5,000 for what you just did.
Yeah.
And lose the opportunity for your 2 friends to ever be able to get Nexus.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never really thought about getting Nexus, but now I'm like, wait.
And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Excuse me, Peter. Well, Peter, you're paying the $5,000 because I've never wanted Nexus more in my life. And also, Veronica's there trying to be like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. He's there like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, well, honestly, fine him. Like, he seems like he's down to pay.
He seems like he's down for it.
Like, he was just like, okay. And we're like, I was like, Peter, be a little more grateful. You're like, you're saving a lot of money. So, guys, if you're passing the border, just let you know that one Nexus card doesn't work for the whole car.
Crazy. So, I was so excited for this trip because, Kate, we're going to move it back to last week. Last week was Grand Prix weekend in Montreal. It is probably my favorite time out of the year to go out. Mm-hmm. Like, Grand Prix is like, if you're staying home, you got to almost force yourself. It's kind of like a battle all weekend, but it's
like on your birthday, you know?
It's also a vibe, and you know that there's so many people that are not from the city. So you just have so many opportunities to meet cool people that are from New York or from anywhere in the world, really.
Yeah.
So I went to Marcus. I went out all weekend, and on the Sunday I met this really cute guy. And we got to chatting, and then I ended up finding out he's from New York. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. Like, I'm going to be in New York next weekend for work. And he's like, oh my God, that's great. Like, can I have your number? Would love to take you out. I'm like, what nationality are you? He's like, Italian. I'm like, okay, check. He looks like he's like in his like later 30s. He just like was like very good looking, but like very like health and wellness too. Like different than like, you know, you know how I say like it's not always like I don't need a guy who's like fit, but like just like looks like he like is a bike rider and just like different than what I would normally go for, but like does yoga, just like health and wellness, but also very cute.
Okay,
and also you're there for Grand Prix, like you know what's up. You're at a cool spot. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm down to see you in New York for sure. So then he gives me his number, okay, and I remember when we were filming the episode with Julie was like, one really big red flag is when they give you their WhatsApp and they don't give you their phone number. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying on the podcast that aired that, you know, shit, like he gave me his WhatsApp. But then I was like, whatever, he's not from here. Like, obviously we make excuses all the time. But like, we can't also be like, what the fuck? He gave me his WhatsApp. Like, I have a lot of people who write to me on WhatsApp.
Okay.
No, like people who are like not from like this city.
Who's all the people that are writing to you on WhatsApp?
Like a few from like Raya and like.
Well, you messaged me on WhatsApp and you're getting a response in 7 business days.
1,000.
I never see the notification.
1,000%. 1,000%. But there's a couple people who write to me. But now that I'm thinking about it, anyway, whatever. So that was apparently the first red flag. Anyway, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. I was like, whatever. He's not from here. Maybe he's just a WhatsApp guy. Okay.
A WhatsApp type of guy.
So he goes back on Monday. And I'm, getting ready for my week. We're going to New York this weekend. And the whole week leading up to coming to New York, he's been messaging me every day. Hello, like sending me just like pictures, whatever. Keep in mind, I have no idea. I can't find this guy on Instagram. I have nothing. I just have his WhatsApp.
And so, his first name.
His first and last name, actually.
Oh.
So I tried. I went on Instagram.
Yeah.
I tried to do the stalking. I couldn't find anything. And every time I couldn't find something, I was getting more and more wet.
You're like, this is amazing.
It's so amazing. I didn't meet this guy on Raya. He doesn't have Instagram. This is amazing. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
100%.
So whatever. So now, yeah. So the whole like week leading up to it, he's been messaging me and like, when are you coming down? Like, want to take you out, yada, yada, yada. And then like, on Thursday, when we were driving down, he's like, are you here yet? I'm like, no, like, gonna be there like at 10 p.m., blah, blah, blah. But like, Thursday doesn't work for me. Like, starting as a Friday, like, at night, we can figure something out what day, like, you're gonna take me out or whatever. And I feel like now that we're here, now we're Saturday, okay, just to give some context. We might shoot back another episode and like catch up from this. But on Thursday, it was like weird because he was just like very like not pressuring, but like, hey, like what's up? Like when are you coming in? Like it seemed like he was like eager beaver to see me kind of thing. And I was like, I told you already, like I can't really Thursday. I have to set up. We have guests on Friday morning.
Yeah.
So then Friday, after like I'm filming, we have Joe Sanagato on and Dan. I'm kind of like, why isn't he messaging me? No. So then whatever, we finish the podcast, he messages me. And it's like the whole week, he was kind of telling me like I'm not feeling well, like I'm just like,
but like hopefully I'll be better.
Hopefully I'll be better before the weekend. Sending me a picture of like lemon water, him like laying down watching a show, like, and I'm kind of like, whenever a guy is sick, I don't know if this is like fucked up, but like grow up.
Well, a guy who's like,
Mel's laughing. You agree with me, right?
But
grow up.
Any guy who's like, I'm sick, like like a man cold, like that's like shut the fuck up.
No, like. As girls, we can be like annoying. And even at that, I feel like we're not.
I feel like when girls are sick, we take it better than guys do. I don't know if it's because, you know what it might be? It might be because like we get our period every month and we're kind of used to not feeling well. Like
we're kind of used to being stabbed by a knife.
Yeah, and like headache and like tired. Like we're used to that feeling. We just kind of overcome it and still work. So it's like, I feel like when we get a cold, we just like push through it a little more than men do. I feel like when men get sick, not every guy 100%, because I have met people that are not like that. Yeah. But like some
they
guys,
need to be a lot more babied. Like they need like soup. And
it's like they get a headache and they're like, I have a headache. I'm like, bro, I got a headache every week.
Like you're like, every day I deal with this.
But it's like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like girls, we get headaches, and like guys don't really get headaches. So they get a headache and they're like,
literally.
They're like, babe, close the light.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me and my taste in men, but I always get the guys who are like, but I don't want to take a Tylenol. And I'm like, and then it's like,
Veronica,
bro, take the Tylenol because I don't want to hear you.
And shut the fuck up.
I'm like,
and if you're not going to take the Tylenol,
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
No.
You don't get to complain about your headache and not take a Tylenol or Advil.
If you're going to be that person who wants to be au natural, but then you're sniffing lines at fucking 7 p.m., shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't care if it's even weed.
Yeah, you know what's in those things? Yeah, something that'll take your headache away. So fucking take it.
I don't care if it takes fucking 3 weeks off your life.
Go.
And then take it again next week when you get it again.
No. It's always the ones who complain that won't take like the one thing that'll save them. It's like, bro, because I
don't care you want to be au natural, but just shut up.
I don't care. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I know, like for me, like now I got my ears done. I never take the pain medication that they give me because one time I had a bad experience with it. So like I always just do Tylenol. Like I'm always just like, I'm just going to take my Tylenol unless it's like unbearable.
Yeah.
But I'll never be the one that's like, oh, like I can't get up, like I can't do it. It's like, no, I know I'm like doing this to myself by like not taking the pain medication I should be. So I'm gonna mostly shut up. You know what I mean? But you can't be the one to be like, I'm not taking anything, but then be like, babe, close the lights, babe.
Yeah.
Babe, stop, please.
Let's go back to my story.
But anyways.
So we're
Grow up.
Whatever.
You're sick, grow up.
So basically, as of Monday, he's saying I'm really not feeling well. But then I'm like, okay, like I don't know. Okay, I get it. You told me that. Great. He's like, the weekend was crazy. Yeah, I get it. He went out all weekend. Okay, sure. But like, why are you so worried that you're gonna be sick when I'm coming down like Friday? That's like 5 days to heal.
But also, like, when you're sick, you really get that one day to be like, I'm too sick to do this. Like 2 max, and 2 you have the flu. Like, you don't get to say 5 days. Like, don't tell me that by Friday you're still too sick to do something. I'm sorry,
Veronica, and the fact that he's already like implementing that and like planting that seed is sketch. But here I am, like on a Monday, he's telling me this. I'm like, yeah, I believe it, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're sick. Tuesday, okay, you're drinking lemon water. Wednesday, I'm like, relax.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hopefully I'm going to feel better so that at some point I can at least see you on the trip. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So now, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, obviously, like, I have the messages.
Well, I think you're missing the key component, which is yesterday's conversation.
Okay, so should I read it?
Like, it wasn't weird until he was being weird. Like, he kept asking you, when did you get in, by the way, when you already said when you got in. Like, it was like kind of like
you know, like someone
to,
who's still trying to talk
like
to you,
stall,
but
kind of.
stall time.
Yeah.
Yes. So then he's like, "Where are you staying?" Whatever. He's like, "I still haven't been able to shake this. Would have loved to grab drinks and / or a bite tonight. Hopefully better for tomorrow." Now I'm like, if I'm dealing with a baby who's still, if he is still sick, no. I said, yeah, would have loved to see you. Finally, I'm staying in Brooklyn. We needed the space, whatever, for filming the podcast. Because at first I had told him I was going to be in Soho. And then we're talking. And then he goes, just got to town today. I go, no, got in yesterday at 10 p.m., which I had told him.
Yeah.
We just finished filming. He goes, late one, no summer Fridays for Alessia, lol. And then I was just like, that's someone who's keeping you around. And I was like, he's getting the scene because I'm not entertaining this anymore.
Yeah.
And I've had a really bad experience in New York like a while ago. So I feel like now I'm kind of just like, what the fuck are your vibes?
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with me. You know, kind of energy.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not entertaining anything that's like
Any
not healthy for
wishy-washy.
wishy-washy, not healthy for me. So I just ignored it. I'm like, it is what it is, guys. I've already came to the conclusion he has a girlfriend. He's just trying to find a way to see me. I'm not doing this. So I've already came to that conclusion with, you know, the help of Veronica, Mel, and, you know, all my other friends. And then I just swiped away. And then he writes back 20 minutes later, I'm crashing early. Hopefully feel better tomorrow / this weekend.
Which, by the way, was sent at 9:30 p.m.
Yes.
So it's like, I get it, you're sick. No one goes to bed at 9:30 p.m. No?
Nobody. Yeah, but even the other nights, now that I think about it. Yes.
I don't know.
But
then, so he writes that.
So he goes, I'm crashing earlier. Hopefully feel better tomorrow, this weekend, and we can link up. Have fun tonight. So I was just like, look, for the 0.001% that he's actually telling the truth, which we all know he's not, let me just be like, feel better, XX. That's saying, I don't believe your bullshit. I'm not entertaining it.
Yeah.
And like,
Feel
you
better.
know I don't believe you.
Yeah.
But like, feel better, babe.
Yeah.
So I just wrote feel better, XX. He writes at 9:47, what are you doing? ? For me, it's like, what?
But it's like, you just said you're going to bed and now you're concerned about what I'm doing.
Like,
it's just really weird.
it's really weird. What are you doing? ? So now I'm like, I thought about not answering, but then I'm like, okay, let me just answer.
Yeah.
I wrote, going out, so cold. Nice. Another message. Where at? Another message, ? And I just wrote, after I was like, do I even answer that? And then I answered like 2 hours later. I was just like at the restaurant now eating dinner. Like, I was like, you're not going to know where I'm eating. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
But it's just weird. But now what happens since
You know what
that?
the thing is? It's just like, so now we're waking up. I wrote that last night.
Yeah.
And then now
Nothing.
But I know
That's
he's going to write to me today and be like, hey,
Yeah.
what's your plan? Where are you? But like, what's the vibes now? Like, if he pulls through and he's like, I want to do drinks, let's do dinner. Like, I know we're saying what we're saying, but
It's because we're also
is
inventing.
the door still open? Are we inventing? We are,
I think,
baby.
look,
No, we're
I
not.
think realistically we can do like we were talking about. It's like you build the story with the information that you have, so it's not looking great for him. But like also it's never like 100%. Like
if a guy wants to, he will.
yes, but I feel like a lot of people will have the wrong idea of you. Like like even that happens all the time to me, and I feel like people like get to know me or
But
like or like
actually-
talk to me a bit more, and then they're like, oh, like I didn't realize like at the time, you know, you're really
Yeah,
like this,
I get
or like
that. I get that a
so
lot.
It's so hard.
But why I was so happy about this guy is because, look, my name on Instagram is Alessia Giandra, and on my WhatsApp, it's Alessia Lenobile. So there is no way he would ever find me.
Yeah.
There's no way. I even did like the stalking, like, okay, I'm going to stalk
I'm
myself.
saying, like, for
so if he
him-
goes on Instagram and tries to find me, he's not finding me.
Yeah.
Because my name, there's no way.
But
So I'm like so happy I have this clean slate of like somebody
Yeah.
not knowing anything about me, really getting to know me for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's amazing. So there is no what you're saying.
I'm saying on his end though.
Yeah,
like
he
I'm
has
saying-
nothing. He has nothing except a
I'm
good
not
conversation.
talking about you. I'm talking about like for him. I'm talking about like we can make all these judgments of like he has WhatsApp, he's doing this, he's saying that, he's like getting sick, whatever, but like we don't actually know like what his character is and like what his vibe is. So it's like you could meet him and like all of this makes sense, and it's like, oh, like I get why now you were like this. But then it also in the same time could be like signs that he's like maybe like kind of trying to like stall a little bit, or like maybe something's up, or
Maybe
something.
he has a girl.
You know, but all I'm saying is like we can only make a judgment based off the information that we have, which is not that much. So it's like there's a lot of fill in the blanks that happen when like it's like texting and like
I totally hear you. I think where I'm at is like, why were you so much like in my life when I wasn't in your city, and now I'm in your city and you're starting to do the whole whew.
yeah.
That's like you're avoiding, you're like, how am I gonna do this?
He was really didn't care. He just would have like he would have just like
But
been like
that's what I don't understand. I'm like, literally when you took my number and everything, you didn't have to write to me the whole week.
yeah.
That's where I'm like, why are you're clearly like,
It's weird.
it's not weird. I think it's just he has a girl. No, Mel, what do you think?
I think that's the thing that makes sense for me, because it's just like someone who's not interested wouldn't have been like trying so hard.
Yeah.
And wouldn't be like following up. And then like it's just weird to me the way he's kind of strategizing the like stalling it, and like but maybe towards the end of the weekend.
Don't
like,
say
it's
good
just,
night
like,
and then where are you? Like,
Yeah.
that's like I want my cake and I want to eat it too. Like, I
Yeah.
want to maybe see if I can.
like it's just weird.
It's weird. And like, I feel like on this trip, I was really like, you know, like my friends are here. Obviously, like Raya right now is like where it's at for me to go. Like, there's so many people I'd love to meet. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm kind of over the whole like Raya. I kind of want to do things with my friends, and I don't want to start like dipping and going on dates. I'm kind of like over it a bit. So I was like, this is the only guy perfect. Didn't meet on Raya. Like,
Yeah.
it just felt like, yeah, that's the most natural one. Like, if there's anybody I will make an effort to actually see if I'm ditching my friends, was him.
Yeah.
Because I like already met him and it was a vibe.
Yeah.
So like, it's just funny how for once I'm like, fuck Raya, I'm not doing it this trip. Here we are.
And here we
Here
are.
we are.
But I was telling Ale, like, I think it's also because she's like, you know, it's like always these people, but I'm like, it's also like the place you meet someone, and it's tough because it's like, you know, like she's saying like Grand Prix.
This was big sister advice.
But it's like, you know, Grand Prix fun. Everyone's out. Everyone's from out of town. So you're like, yes, I'm going to meet so many cool people. But it's like and I'm not saying that everyone that attends these events is that way. I'm not saying that at all.
Just cut this as a trailer already.
But I'm saying like the majority of the people that are like going out to clubs, going out to these certain events, going for the weekend to Montreal, have the money to even do that with their boys, spending this money in these like upscale places. I would probably say that it's like a certain type of person for the most part. And it's a little more difficult to find someone that's like not taken, not a cheater, not like a little sus in those situations when it comes to money and young and rich and like liking the liking the nightlife and the energy and that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that it's always like that, because like, okay,
Veronica,
I like to go clubbing, doesn't mean I'm a bad girl, doesn't mean I'm unloyal, but for the most part you have to kind of also have that
assess
judgment and
where you're meeting
where you're
somebody.
meeting someone. So it's like, you know, you meet someone in a club, in the back of your mind you're always kind of like,
Ed
okay,
Sheeran says it, guys.
yeah. So it's tough. It's like, yeah, it's like fun to meet people in the cool spots, but the people you're meeting in the cool spots are also the people that like care a lot about like money and status and all that stuff. And sometimes I would say like half the time those people lack a lot of values in other areas because they can be so money status driven.
Yeah. Mel, did you take anything from that? Did you learn something?
But it's tough because it's like we're also like to be in those areas, but it's like we
I know,
also
and
don't
it's like
want
I
the
also
person
don't want to like change my who I am because like I don't
Exactly.
want to meet somebody who's also like
Not at all that way.
not at all that way, because like then we're not gonna vibe either. Because I still like
Absolutely.
to go out. I like to do those
Absolutely.
things. It's
That's
so
why I'm saying it's
tough.
so difficult. It's like so hard to find that like diamond in a rough, as they say. It's like that like it's like we do those things, so we want to find someone who also
Yeah.
likes that, but then the majority of the time the people who also like those things lack certain values that we're looking for.
I know.
So it's hard to
I'm
find that
feeling,
happy
like,
middle.
Really discouraged because I was really like so happy about like the fact that it was like somebody I met in person. It was like he was kind of like
Yeah.
vetted in a way because he was around other people I knew. It was just like it's annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's annoying. But it's so hard too, to be like, it's all about like the places you meet people. Cause then it's like, oh, where do you want me to meet someone? You know what I
Veronica,
mean?
I
Like,
didn't
it's
say
like,
it. You said it.
no, but it's just like, that's just
know.
how I see it. It's like, you want to meet people in like the cool, hot places, but those people tend to like, you know, see life a certain type of way or like maybe lack certain values. So, and then like you want to find someone who doesn't do those things and then maybe they don't want to do those things. So it's so tough, but it's just
know.
having that like awareness that it's like, okay, keeping like that kind of like, this is where I met you. Like, let me just.
Yeah. I think it's also like, not that I'm getting discouraged, but I'm like, it'd be great to find my person now. Like I've been single, like I've been dating, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I do a lot of things for experience. And like, I feel like I've really experienced in the sense of like dating. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody I know who's done more fucking dates than me and have more stories, you
Yeah.
know?
But then it's like,
New York men are my type. But one thing I will say is that they're a little bit hairy. And it's okay. It's okay. We love a man, you know, who's hairy. It shows man
Scruffy.
scruffy. But, okay,
where we don't want them.
where we don't want them hairy or we want them trimmed at least. We're not asking for smooth, but we're asking for a trimmed, nice bush.
And, you know, if you're not keeping yourself, you know, if you're not keeping the lawn mowed, then I'm going to let you know that Manscaped has the Lawnmower 4.0. And that's going to change your life. So whatever products you need to be keeping yourself smooth, fresh, trimmed down, and getting ladies, you're going to have to head on over to Manscaped and use our discount code.
Chemical X at checkout to receive 20% off anything on the website. So if you're hooking up with 3 guys and you feel like they all need it, get it for all 3 of them. Trust me, it's a gift that they will thank you for. And they're always going to be thinking about you, whether you're in their lives or not, because they keep using that thing.
Oh, absolutely. The gift that keeps on giving.
So like, stay toxic, I guess. Chemical X at checkout to receive 20% off and free shipping. It's a win for everyone.
You know what they say? This quote of like, and I always use
because
this
I'm
quote.
saying now I'm ready for something, I feel like now is when it's not gonna happen.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I know what you're saying, but that's not what I was gonna say. But like, I always use this quote when I'm in an argument, but it's like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the recipe for insanity.
failure.
For insanity. That'll drive you crazy. Is always doing the same thing and expecting something, a different
Expecting a
outcome.
different result.
Yeah, and expecting a different result. And like, that's why sometimes when it's like, that's what I mean when it's like you're like meeting people in those certain areas, going for the same type of guy. It's like,
It's so true.
it's like you still think like maybe this one will be different, maybe this one will be different, but it's like sometimes
so
you just have
fucking-
to like look at the data overall and be like, it's not worth going through all this just to find that one person. So maybe I need to switch something up. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying you have to be like, let me go for not my type or not here. It's just like sometimes you just need to be
I
like,
thought
let me
I'm
try
not gonna
something
lie,
new.
I thought this was trying something new. I'm not gonna lie. It was just
Really?
like very different. Yes. I
feel like it's
normally
like you met
don't
him
go
in-
for one Italians. I don't normally talk to like an Italian guy. I just felt like it was more like it was different.
But I think like overall,
I
it's
normally
still the
don't
same.
care if it's like somebody who's like into their body or like fitness.
Yeah,
And,
but
like,
that's not.
I
What
know,
I'm saying is
but
like the similarities are the same. Like it's like you met him in a hot spot, you met him during a hot
I
time.
hear you, I hear
he's
you.
Probably like it's like those things are
But
where
like
it's
also like what girl doesn't want that?
I know. I'm just saying like that's the similarities. It's not like oh
So
he's Italian.
Veronica, which library should I go to? Tell me which library I
to.
should go to.
I want to tell you. I don't know. I don't meet my men in the libraries. I meet them in the club.
Why, Mel? Didn't you have sex in a library?
You had sex in a library?
Like, I'm sorry, goals.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't know if that's goals for me.
Well, it's very Chuck Bass. What do you mean? You wouldn't want to have sex in a library?
Like it's more for the vibes than anything.
It's more for like the shelves and like the secretness.
I
and
never said I want to fuck in a library. It's just.
Are you serious?
I've never been like there's places that I've been like, yeah, I would love to have sex there, but library was not on.
Library is
the top of my
definitely
list.
on my list. What do you mean? It's giving like Chuck Bass and Blair Waldorf vibes. Okay, wait.
I don't know.
Wait,
I know,
oh,
but
wait,
I
it was
don't feel
Nate's.
like
I
library.
think it was Nate and Serena then that had sex in the library.
You guys make me sound like a loser for not wanting to fuck in a
Okay,
library.
wait, where
but-
do you want to fuck? That's like on your bucket list.
I feel like
I feel like the transition. Sorry, guys. Just for anyone who doesn't know, Mal had said something, so now we're just kind of like.
I feel like I feel like when I was younger, I had this thing called like a fuck it list, and it was like I wanted to like have sex in all these cool places when I was like young and dumb.
Now
know?
you're like, a bed's great.
Now I'm like, give me a bed.
Yeah,
even the
I hear
shower.
you. I
Even
get-
the shower. I'm like,
The shower sucks.
I'm like, give me a bed though.
The shower fucking sucks.
I actually,
Unless it's
I will
a really,
say,
really big shower.
Car is underrated.
Car is so fun.
Car is
I
underrated.
lost my virginity in a car.
I didn't lose my virginity in a car, but you know what's fun about a car? You have to handle. And like, I love a little assistance. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, talk about assistance. You want to talk about your bed?
guys, we got in here and like they go sit on their bed and I go, you do like the 1-2 jump to
Well, I
like
figured-
test out the bed.
I figured like Veronica has, she went through
Got
surgery. She cut a pizza out of her ear. Like, let's give her the entire bed.
Which is, you know what? I actually am always the one who gets the middle. I'm always the one who gets the couch. So like, I was really surprised that I got like allowed to have the bed. But so I get on my bed and I do like the the hotel bed jump that everybody does, and I do it. And guys, when I tell you I almost flew through the ceiling, this thing is a trampoline. And I'm telling the girls, I'm like, guys, like the bed is really bouncy. And I was like, yeah, mine too. I'm like, no, go try my bed.
I literally almost flew into the set.
It's literally a bouncy ball.
I think we
Anyway.
might even do like a little video and like throw it in
Yeah.
after. It's insane.
But where's like the craziest place you've had sex?
for
by the
fucking?
way? Fucking amazing.
But for fucking, Jesus.
I'll ride you.
All right, all day.
I got this. If there's one day that I got this, it's on this
Jesus,
bed.
you don't need the gym for that kind of shit.
Definitely not.
It's literally, you're jumping.
You're jumping. But forget about the craziest place you had sex. I actually think like for me in a house, like I like the kitchen counter, I like the couch, I like the bed.
I love the kitchen.
But, like-
even like when I watch porn,
Yeah.
I think like kitchen porn
Kitchen
is,
is
good.
sexy, but
Yeah.
I find I've lost the like I used to be a very like in public like ooh ah, but like I feel like now I just have a little bit more like I just feel like I don't know anymore about like people like in public, and it's just like a bit like oh I don't know if I want that, like someone catching me and then it's like weird.
So the
I
craziest,
feel like I've gotten over that stage.
craziest place I had sex was in Mykonos in public. We went like up on the bricks.
Oh, like on the rooftops.
On the rooftops, but like, yeah.
Sure, that's not out there on the internet somewhere.
I don't know.
Wow. I think
And obviously, I was in a baby doll dress, classic. If it would happen in anything, what do men love?
baby doll dress.
Bend over and quick.
I think why do I feel like it was this dress?
No, it wasn't. But
You're
why
like-
do I feel like whenever I wear anything of Veronica's, and like,
She
say it, just say it.
well, last time she goes, look at these cute pictures of me after I had sex in my outfit. I'm like,
Yeah, she's like, is there cum on that?
yeah, I'm like, it's like I'm putting it back on. I'm like, I feel inappropriate.
So speaking about dates, I had
And having sex on rooftops in Mykonos.
I never said this story honestly, so I figured it goes with this topic. But I had went to see a guy who lived in another city. Well, now I'm trying to be all like hush
Another
hush.
city,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to say the city. And I never told you about the story.
Well, by the way, fuck off, because every time she'll like want to talk about this like person or the story, and she'll like talk about things and then be like, yeah, but like this one thing happened, and then it was just like, and I was like, don't. I
And
literally
then you're
said,
like, well, what happened? I was like, no, I'll save it for the podcast.
and I literally said, so don't bring it up. Like,
And
actually,
I think
fuck
like
off.
we were actually like,
I was actually pissed because I'm like, don't think that you. It was very like, you know, when someone says like, I really want to tell you, but I can't.
yeah,
It was.
I know. I was just
For
gonna say
2
that.
days, I was like, I actually said like, Ale, actually fuck off right
Yeah.
now. Like, don't do this to me.
I know.
And then I said, by the time you tell me, I don't care anymore.
100%. So this was a while ago. I had went to see him for the weekend, and this was, I guess, me trying something new. You're like, no, it's not trying something new. A guy from another city is not trying something new.
Brown hair.
Cute. But what I will say is, Veronica, call me a cougar
Wait, why?
because he's younger than me.
Oh yeah, by how much?
1 year. I promise you, it might be in my life the second person I hooked up with that.
That's younger.
No,
than you?
actually, the first, because the other one was my age.
1 year doesn't count as younger than you. I would still feel this. I would feel like
I
I'm
think
45
as a
years
girl,
older,
it's
but-
a big deal. No, I know you're into the young. They
I
just
know
went
what
through
you mean.
puberty.
Whoa!
Kidding, I'm
I don't even know why you're saying that.
No,
I've
You-
never
you
gone
like-
for a
no,
young
your
guy.
style is more just like TikTok vibes.
Like I like cuties.
Cuties,
Like I
like-
don't like older men.
Yes.
So I'm like young,
That's
but
what
I
I
always go
mean.
for my age or like a bit older. But like I like cuties. But like I get what you're saying though. Like 1 year feels like
I was really like, oh my God, like what if we hit it off and we have sex and like he's just like so bad because he's so young. Like this is so stupid to be like saying these things, but I'm sure people can relate to what I'm saying.
because he's so young. 1 year.
Mel, do you get what I'm saying?
Mel, I know who you've been on a date with. Shut up. Want to talk about 1 year younger? Don't everyone shut the fuck up in this room.
I think I don't have to shut the fuck up because anyway, I'm a cougar these days. I'm like taking whatever I could get, I guess.
You did switch it up. I mean,
You're telling me to
did.
switch it up. I
You
was like,
did.
okay, fine.
So I'll knock off a year.
I'll go for a 26-year-old. Damn. I felt really like scared. I swear, you think it's not a big deal, but I was actually like, oh my God, he's going to be immature. Like, yes. I'm telling you, men really don't mature until it's not, this is the thing. It's not everyone. It
Yeah.
also depends your upbringing and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
you get what I'm saying. So I go and we hit it off. It's a great, like honestly, like so fun.
Try something new.
Tried something new.
Maybe the youngies are where it's at.
Maybe the youngies are where it's at. Veronica. What?
These young
She
boys.
sounds like an old aunt.
They're hot, these young boys,
Like,
huh?
like what? Mel, you want to come pop your face for a sec so they know what they're
dealing with.
what they're dealing with? She's gonna come in. They're gonna go, but this girl looks too.
Yeah, literally.
So I go see him, and honestly, like really like vibey weekend. And something I like don't really ever do. I stayed with him, and girls, god damn, it's so much work when you stay with somebody.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's like, hey,
everything
here's-
down from like the silk pajama has to be to the T. Like you
Yeah.
can't go no raggedy shirt.
Yeah.
Like even your pajamas gotta
And
be
it's like,
like
it's the type like you wake up, you do your makeup, you go back in bed, and you pretend like you were sleeping.
it's so much work, guys.
So much.
It's so much work.
You can't be yourself.
You can't. I'm not myself, man.
Like, give me a second.
Like even before we continue talking, like we still need to talk about how much work it is.
It's so much work.
It's everything from like having to go to the washroom.
yeah. Like, where's the lobby in this bitch?
Like he had picked me up from the airport and we had went straight to dinner. I had got off from the plane and I had went to the bathroom and did like the 45-minute get ready type
Yeah.
thing, like trying to find an outlet, trying to curl my hair,
Oh
putting
my
the
God.
deodorant, spraying perfume. Even if I showered before my plane,
Yeah,
it's
you just don't
never
have a
the
plane.
same, So like already that was like, you're already getting to meeting him and you're like,
I'm
take
not my best.
bags, I'm
Yeah.
sweating. So then, so I get in the car and, like everything's good. Okay. We went to dinner and I was kind of like, you know that feeling of like, obviously when you're staying with someone, you're like, are we gonna like fuck because I'm like staying with you type thing?
It's like I feel like you have to put the pillows in between.
You have to be like, this is my line.
Yeah.
This is your line. Like, don't
100%.
pass.
Yeah.
His friends were chill. We're still talking, which like still like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is where like you know what? I contemplated talking about this story because I feel like every time I like go and see someone or talk, it's always like negative, or it's like at some point it's like, are you the problem? Tell me you know what I mean. It's like at some point it's like I almost just want to be like, everything went smoothly.
Yeah.
But everything did go smoothly. I did end up sleeping with him eventually, and like sex was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I had thought like, okay, he's 26, like sex is gonna be bad.
Anyway, I'm 26. You think I'm bad in bed?
But I'm trying to say it. And then I was telling you like it's different when it's a girl versus a guy. I sexist maybe, but tell me you know what I mean. Like we always say, guys have to do a lot more work in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Realistically. So like I feel like when you're 20, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. But like I was just like shocked to know like how good it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. Also because he's a bit nerdy. So he's a bit nerdy. And like a lot of the things that I don't normally go for. So I was like so shocked. But you know what I think it is? Nerds are probably really good in bed.
Mel's agreeing.
Yeah? Would you agree?
Really
Mel, do you
gone
want
in
to
the
be my
nerd area.
ghost? They're just, yeah.
Okay.
And then the last day, like the last, so he had picked me up from the airport. He had saw like my Uber, you know, situation story. So he made a joke. He's like, hi, I saw your Uber. He's like, no, you're Ubering it when you get there. I'm going to send you an Uber. I'm like, oh my God, like, no. And he was like, I'm just kidding. I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
So I had already like, I was like, obviously he's coming and get me. He's going to bring me back he's going to bring me back when I'm traveling, you know, back to Montreal. Yeah. And I remember that day we had like went for like a nice jog, and like it was just like it just felt like very healthy this like weekend. And he was like, shit, like my sister needs the car. And then I was like, oh my God. Because I'm obviously we obviously were under the understanding that he was driving me back.
Yeah.
To
the
airport. And the thing is, it's like it's one thing if I'm taking an Uber to like the Miami one, but I had come into the Fort Lauderdale one because it was the only flight that was like later that day, and I couldn't go earlier.
Right.
So he had just booked me back from Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. So this would have been like a 45-minute Uber. Mm-hmm. And like just keep in mind the whole Uber situation happened in Miami. So for me, like Miami of all places is super stressful for me. Because I like did it a couple times in LA, like, and I was tripping, but I was like, it's fine.
Because it's not Miami.
Because it's not Miami. But I feel like when you're going back to the place that like did you wrong, you're kind of a little bit more on edge. And like my anxiety was like just through the roof.
Yeah.
So I didn't really express to him like how much anxiety I was having.
Yeah.
Okay. So when he was like, I'm just going to have to send you an Uber, like I hope that's like fine. And like we're walking, I remember we're just like in Brickell walking, and I was like I was just like, oh, and he's like you're gonna be okay, you're fine. And I just like didn't say anything. And then the whole rest of the day, because my flight was only at night, I was just like tripping the entire time. We're like making lunch together and we're like watching shows. And the entire time, all I'm thinking about is how I'm getting to the airport, because like I don't want to take this Uber alone. But also the weekend went so well. And I know like we were going to continue this once I left.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like, oh shit, like here, let me bring on my baggage right now, you know, and be like, actually, no, I'm not taking an Uber. You know what I mean? It's like we're gonna just about to have our first fight if he's like starting to be like, hey, what the fuck? Like just get in the fucking Uber. Yeah. Which I think a lot of people would be like, you know? So I was like, oh my God. So I wasn't really expressing how I felt. So by the time I was like, it was ish time to go, I was like, so I'm having a lot of anxiety about going in the Uber. And he's like, you're gonna be fine. Like share your location with me. You're good. And I was like, can you come in the Uber with me? And this is like my anxiety fully taking over me. I'm like, I don't even care if you think I'm crazy and you never talk to me again. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And he was like, are you serious? And then I was like, here we go. He's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, like I'm having a lot of anxiety. But like I haven't been addressing that to him all day. So he was like, oh, I thought like you were cool about it because like you didn't really say anything. I was like, yeah, like I wasn't really saying anything because I was just like dealing with it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I would definitely bring you to the airport if I had my car, but my sister took it. Let me see if like if she's done, if I can get it and like that'll fix the problem. And I was like, yeah, like see, you know? And then he was like, no, like she can't. And then I was like, well, can you come in the Uber with me? And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that's just crazy though. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God. He's like, I'm not going to like get in a 45-minute Uber with you and then Uber it back. Like it's just like insane. But then I'm like, well, you're not a gentleman. So then I'm like, you're not a gentleman. Then
You
I'm
told
like,
him that?
no, in my head, I'm like,
Right.
You're not a gentleman. Because anybody, like, first of all, I did come see you. I took a flight for 3 hours and a half to come. I like did all this for you. Like, I get it. It's not ideal. I hear you. But also, like, don't say like it's annoying for me. Like, I have to take a 45-minute Uber when like I did all this travel for you. Like, it's not like your delivery came for the weekend and now like she's leaving and like you can't do that extra little
I don't
thing.
think it's about that. I just think it's about like coming from a place where it's so like for him it's like
everyone I spoke to, they were like, well, whether he wanted to or not, it's just like be a gentleman and do it.
Yes, but I think it's more so in the stage where it's like he knows for 100% that you're gonna be okay. So it's almost like
but
okay,
but the thing is, it's not about that. It's like you want to be with someone where like it's okay that you feel a certain way and they want to do something in order to make you feel good.
But like I feel like he was doing that. I just feel like in this situation it's very hard to be like it gets very hard to be empathetic to the situation because
he doesn't
like,
know it to the extent to because I haven't been really explaining it. But
like for him it's just kind of like, but you're gonna be fine. Like for me to travel like an hour and a half, $200 of Ubers, like it's just kind of like I know you're going to be okay. Like, I'll be on the phone with you. I'm going to be there for you. Like, I think in his head, he's just like, if it was like a dangerous situation, like, I feel like he would have. I'm just like to see both sides.
Yeah, but it's not about that. I don't see it that way. And a lot of my friends were like, yeah, like whether he wanted to do it or not, it's just like, if that's how like your girl's feeling, you kind of just like want to do it so that they feel safe type thing. You know? Mel, what are your thoughts?
I just think it's like if it was a situation that was like threatening or something, I know he would have, but I think it was just more so like he doesn't understand the extent and he's just a bit like he's just a bit like you're gonna be fine. Like and I get that mentality of like okay,
I just think I live in a world where like my guy that I'm gonna be with is gonna want to do the things that are gonna make me feel at rest. Like I've definitely after this have traveled to see somebody and they've literally taken an Uber to come get me. Even if they didn't have a car, they came to the fucking airport to get me with a thing. So to see that extent of somebody to be so nurturing and caring, to be like, I absolutely know how you feel and I will, without a doubt, no blame, just do it. And to go from, I guess, that, somebody being so like, you don't even have to explain it to me. Yeah. Which is, I think, what everyone wants. Someone who like will comfort them and make them feel like, don't worry. To someone who's like a bit younger and doesn't feel like they need to do that type thing. Yeah. You know, where it was just like a little bit immature on his end. And this is where I got like a little like, yeah. I was like, no, honestly, like I really just like prefer if you came with me. He's like, I'm going to come with you, but I'm not going to be happy about it. And then got up and then I was like, okay, I guess we're having our first fight. Here we go. Let's dive right in. And at this point, I'm like, I don't care if you never talk to me again. I don't care if this doesn't go anywhere because like this is like a true, I guess, representation of what it would be like dating you. I don't know.
I think I see like, both sides though.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying about like people being like,
but when you say, and then he called his friend and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to cancel seeing you. It's a long story, but like I can't chill. Yeah. And I was like, oh, now you're making me feel bad from the other room. I was like, no, this is very immature. And then I was like, then I got up and I was like, no, you know what? It's fine. Like, I'll just go alone. At this point, I'm like, I'm literally having so much anxiety. I'm like, it's fine, whatever. And now I'm going down, but I'm like, please say like, he's like, well, I'm coming down with you. I'm going to bring you down. We're going to see the driver and like make sure everything's good. In the whole time, I'm like, oh my God, he needs to get in the Uber. Like I'm having like a panic attack, literal panic attack. And then his friend who we were with all weekend that like was like, she's so cool. She's so nice. In my head, I'm like, why can't he just ask his friend to drive me? And like, I don't know. I was just thinking of everything. He goes, as I've accepted that I'm getting in the Uber, which I haven't. I don't know what I'm going to do. By the way, he was like, I'll call you an Uber. I was like, don't even, because I'm going to cancel like 8 of them if I don't feel like I like who's coming. Like I was nuts. And then anyways, his friend, he ended up calling his friend, and then his friend ended up bringing me, but only after I said, can you call and ask him to bring me? And he was like, I'm sure he'll do it. But I'm like, you know, I was struggling. Then why didn't you offer? Why am I the one saying, can you bring your friend? You know? So there was a lot of things, but like, I still don't want to like base it off like that, because like we did really vibe. So it's like, it's weird in that sense. His friend ended up driving me to the airport with him in the car, and they just like made a day out of it, whatever. They went and they did something in that area after. But like, I was like so grateful. I like sent him like a bottle of champagne to his room. I was like, thank you so much. Like, just know it's like very appreciated. So then I kind of got back, and I was talking to like my girlfriends about it. They're like, Ale, like, I get how you feel. So like, but then I also like really like liked him, and I don't know if he like apologized and stuff, but sorry, my brain is literally everywhere. But when his friend was bringing me, he was like, he was just so much more understanding. And I feel like even when I told him the story of the Uber, he was very like, I don't believe it happened. You know, like that kind of guy that's like, yeah, but like, why didn't you just call 911 when you were in the thing? Or like, why didn't you, like, just like from a male's perspective, just like seeing things from a very logical standpoint, like not being in the situation, you know? So like, it seemed like he didn't even believe when I was saying like the Uber situation, but whatever. So then his friend was like, yeah, like, totally, like, I totally get it. Even me as a guy, sometimes when I take an Uber late at night and I'm wearing an expensive watch, it like trips me out. So he was really like comforting me, and I didn't feel like I got that from my guy. So I was like, when they were driving me, I was like, well, at least a friend doesn't think I'm so weird, you know? Because when I had to get out with my luggage and just like go on to like his car, I was like, I feel like an idiot. I feel like so stupid.
I mean, I think it's like, you have to understand that like not everyone is gonna be. It's like, I don't think that this is like, I think it's like a really specific situation that normally people wouldn't deal with. So I don't think it like necessarily speaks on how his character is. Yeah, like I think it's like also like you have to understand that like people are like, you not gonna understand it like realistically. Like people are not, like, for people it's like, okay, but like just
the other guy
but you get what I'm saying?
Understood, like, and was just like,
but it's different.
I know
it's different with everyone, but it's, I feel like a lot of people will just be like, okay, but like, I'm doing all these things to make sure you're good. I still think he did a lot of stuff to like comfort you, and like, I'll stay on the phone. Like, he wasn't like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I think there was certain things that he did do to try to make you feel like better. But like, I also think like it's just, I just don't want to say like it speaks on his character. Like, I totally get in your sense, you're like, what the fuck? But like, it's also like a really like situation that's like your thing. So it's like,
sometimes like as a girl, we don't need the guy to be like logical about it, or like have to like understand the situation and like have to feel like they agree with you. It's like, as a girl, if we feel a certain way and we want to feel safe with a guy, like it doesn't matter whether it makes sense or not. It's literally like how I'm feeling. So if you care about that, then you're just doing it regardless of whether you think it's nuts or not. So I think that's where I was kind of coming from. But anyway,
I just think I totally agree with you. I absolutely agree. I just think that there's like there's also limits for people to be like understanding. Like, there's times where it's like, I totally get it. Like, I'm there for you. Like, I can make this happen for you. I'm going to do it to make you feel safe. Like, picking you up, and I'll be on the phone with you and all these things. Like, I'm going to do what I can to make you feel safe. But like, I also think there's a limit for certain people where they're like, okay, well, like, it's not making sense to me anymore. Like, now it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Which I feel like is like like, you went through an experience that's like really like your experience.
You know what it is?
No one ever is going to understand it for how you felt it. So for him, like, he's just like, I'm just trying to say, like, I understand both sides, and I totally agree with you. I totally think that, like, you know, like, the best way to go about it is that way, but I just don't think that's always going to be the way.
I know,
and
but
I don't
it's
think
like,
it makes him like a bad person or that he did something wrong, because he was just like, you're going to be fine. Like, we'll go down and meet the Uber driver. Like, I'll be on the phone with you. Like, I think that's kind of also a normal response.
the way he reacted of like, I'm gonna do it, but I'm not gonna be happy about it. Gets up, calls his friend, like does that whole like, it's very just like immature and like for the boys, like not caring about. Like, I did come to see you. Like, it's just like, it's a little thing and a little nip up in the weekend that you have to do. But also, like, just do it. And that's what my other friends were saying. Like, just do it, though. Like, why are you making a big stink? Just do it and get it over with. Like, that's kind of, like, the vibe of, like, how would it be, like, in other situations? And if we did continue this, you know?
But, like, nothing's perfect. And also, I think, like, if he, like, understands it better now, and it's like that wouldn't happen again.
Yeah. For sure.
So it's like you can't just expect him to understand.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not why I didn't like cancel him out at all or anything or even want to really speak about it. But here we are.
Yeah.
And then he was like, when his friend was driving us, he was like, by the way, like, I feel like I've been a dick. Like, I realized the way I acted was really like out of hand. I didn't realize like how like traumatized you were, and I guess like it being in the city that it happened in and it being like a, you know, a 50-minute Uber, like I kind of hear you. So I'm sorry for the way I acted. And then when he dropped me off at the airport with his friend, he like apologized again. And then like the next day his friend had followed me on Instagram and then like seen my Uber clip, so he's like, he sends it to him and he goes types, or like just like kind of letting him know like, you didn't know this. And then he sent me the screenshot of his friend sending it to him being like, by the way, like, I just want to say again, like, I'm so sorry. I really didn't realize, yada, yada, yada. And then I felt like a lot better. I was like, absolutely. Like, I know where I went wrong. Like, I wasn't really expressing how I felt. You know, I kind of just like expected. Sometimes I just expect people to know what I'm feeling, even if I don't really like share. But also I did tell you, but like, whatever.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
And whatever. So then yeah, like we haven't been talking like every day, but he's definitely been like making an effort to still talk to me. So like that door is definitely not closed, and like we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to share that.
I think the way he handled it, even in the beginning, is like fair for what he thought it was. Like, I think like I
don't agree with that, but anyway.
think like what, like in his eyes, it's more like I don't think he did it out of maliciousness. I think it came out of like, if he knew the whole context, he probably would. Because like judging by like his reaction after, and like he apologized 3 times, like, and he was like, really, like I think someone who didn't understand would have never did that. So I'm just saying, like, I think at the time, maybe the way he thought of the situation was like, he was just kind of like, I don't like, it's seeming like an exaggeration, or it's seeming like, what the fuck. And then, so, but he's still trying to do his part. So I'm just saying, like, I know, but those parts afterwards were all amazing and like what I needed. But in the moment when it was going down, I was like, fuck. And he was even saying like, my God, you like remind me a little bit of my mom. Like, my mom never wants my sister taking Ubers alone. And I'm like, don't plant other seeds after and then be like, and I'm not going to choose to care now. It's not about not caring.
Whatever.
I just think like, I wouldn't
even have brought that up. Like,
I think now he would never do that again. And I think that's what's important. It's like, you have to understand, people don't know you. They don't like understand the situation. And like, sometimes people will do things in a way
those are just out excuses. Of their... You don't need to know someone to like, it's like I said, it's not about understanding somebody. It's not about, it's just like, you don't have to agree. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't it doesn't have to make sense to you, but like when you're really wanting to make a girl feel secure, like you're going to do that extra thing cuz you know it's going to make them feel good.
100%.
So like I just felt a little like cheapskated at the end when it was like I had my delivery present for the week and like we had a vibe, and then like see you later. After I'm telling you how I feel and how traumatized I am.
But again, I think
that's how I felt.
I think which you're entitled to. I'm just saying, I think the way he handled it was like the correct way in the end. And I think that shows more his character. And I also think it's like asking a lot out of someone to fully understand. Like you said, you're not like he'll never know. Even
I'm
if
not
you share.
asking you to fully understand. That's
like,
the thing.
I'm saying like in the end, he did come to a point where he was like, much more
And
understanding
that's
of
why
the
I'm
situation.
still talking to him. Absolutely. And
I just think that's what's important. And I just think like it's hard to like expect someone, like we want people to understand what we're going through. We want them to just be like, yeah, I'm going to do above and beyond for you. But like they don't really know you. They don't really ever understand the circumstance of anything. So I think the way he handled it in the end was like, good.
It's exactly what I wanted. And I think for any man who's listening, I just want you to understand that a lot of the times women, when we're asking for help or like when we're talking about how annoying our day was and all this, we're not asking for a solution. And I feel like men a lot of the times are very like solution based. And a lot of the time women, we just want to be heard. We just want to be understood. We're not asking for the answer. So like it was kind of really one of those situations where it's like, I'm not asking for you to be like, I could be on the phone with you. It's just like, hear me out. This is how I feel. And it's not about it making sense. It's just about like, okay, if that's going to make you feel better, I care about you and I'll do that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I was coming from. But yeah, other than that,
I mean, my sole thing is like, I think sometimes like the solution matters more than the problem.
Yeah.
So how you fix something is more important than
Absolutely.
what happened. And like, that's something that I realize in my life now. It's like, you know, like being in a relationship where like not that many things would go wrong, but when they did, it was like really hard to fix them. That spoke a lot of it. You know what I mean? So I think when someone is able to fix something in the right way, it means so much more.
So much.
Than like than anything. You know, like I would rather someone is able to like do something wrong and then like fix it versus like kind of just doing everything whatever, because it just shows me at least that you're like willing to like grow.
Absolutely.
You're willing to understand, you're willing to like fix stuff. So
like I just like had to give the context for you guys to understand. Like I already knew before even chatting with you the solution was the answer. Like,
100%.
After that I was so much better off, and I was like, okay, great. Like shows his character, he's like a real man. You know. But for sure, for it to make sense, I had to say like how I was feeling
100%.
during. So that's why I'm saying it. But
100%. And you're like totally like allowed to feel the way you're feeling, especially it's like it's your experience. Like you're like, what the fuck? But I think like in the end, like he handled it well. So
in the end, for sure.
I think that if he would do it again, though, it'd be like, what the fuck?
For me, it was really when he was like, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to be happy about it. And then went in the other room and it was like, you know, like trying to be with the boys and like he can't because like.
That's a turn off though.
That was really like,
what the fuck? It's just like, really if you're going to do it, just do it. Like I hate when people like do something but then make you feel bad about it.
But then that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to like get kidnapped.
You know?
Whatever. It is what it is.
No, but 100%. That's like okay.
And like if I knew that was the case, I would have not even went.
It's hard. I think if like we look at it in like our shoes, I'm sure like
no,
we would
I look
also
at it in
be
his
like,
shoes too.
Like I can't even think of another comparison, but like I'm sure we'd be like, what the fuck? Like just go. Do you know what I mean? Like it's tough. You have to always be like open to other people's point of view.
I am.
But it's tough when you see like someone else doing it because then you're like, well, he could do it.
I completely agree. But it's like, oh, I don't feel like being in an Uber for 45 minutes and then coming back for 45. It's like, well, then I feel like, well, do you think I feel like fucking taking a flight for 3.5 hours? Then it's like, then I start to feel even like, oh my God, like you can't even do this. And I feel like it just makes it
like I took a flight here 3 hours in the airport. Like
anyway, all is well. We're still talking. Everything's good. So that's fine. But yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Well, you tried something new. You tried something new. I mean, it worked out. Maybe that's the recipe.
And also, like, you were planning on bringing me. It was your car. You had your car. And then, like, these little things that happen, it's like just... Anyway. Whatever.
Well, anyways, we're in New York. And we're interviewing some really cool guests while we're here. We did some really cool interviews yesterday that can't wait for you guys to see. We had Joe Sanagato on the podcast, which is, like... I've always spoken about to everyone around me, like always knows, my idol, like somebody I've always looked up to, just like in business and always been like a fan of like his
He's
content.
Gonna watch this and go, in business, what the fuck do you know about my business?
No, just like the way he's done like all his businesses. And like I've always been a fan of his content since I was younger. So like having him on was like, wow, like this is like my dream come true.
And I feel like a lot of people who like listen to us probably listen to him too.
Just like really grateful that he came on, and I think it's just
obviously didn't have to, you know?
And it's just one of those things that like I like about his character too, is that he would do something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on to our podcast. So I was just really grateful, and I was really like, wow, like I really feel like it's like sometimes things happen in your life where you're like, you never think it's gonna happen, but then it happens, and you're just kind of like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that was one of those moments where I was like, I literally can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, and I know before he came, like the nerves and like just like being like, well, guys, just imagine like somebody you've always wanted to meet. For Veronica, it's really been Joe.
Yeah.
So like to actually like, you know, like he's coming here to be interviewed
me
by Veronica and
you
me.
know?
She's like, wait, this is a very pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was cool though. I think it's just like one of those things that it's like never think nothing is unattainable, and just like
his vibe with us three was really like cool.
it was really cool. And I can't wait for you guys to see the episode. I think it's gonna be well, I know it was really good.
It was funny. It was fucking funny.
Yeah.
I said we both said some shit that's like, I don't think we've ever even aired any of this.
It was just fucking random and fun. But I think you guys are going to love it. And I'm so excited for you guys to see all our New York content that's coming. And yeah, just chase your dreams.
Just 2 cameras down now. And
yeah, our cameras are dying. Our life is a mess. But we'll see you next week, guys.
We love ya.
We love ya.